Hello, hello. We are back with Your Daily DM, episode 16. We were just talking behind the scenes. Can't believe we've done 15 episodes and we're on 16. So we've got a fun topic this time around, happiness. It's very broad, so let's narrow down what we want to talk about. Over time, we all have evolved in our life, gained experience. So what we want to talk about this time around is what does happiness look like for us over the course of our life so far? And how does it change? How does the definition or what we think happiness is change over time, given our perspective, our life experiences, and so forth? So it's a very different topic from what we've discussed previously, but I think it's extremely important because not only does it impact our work life, our personal life, but how we interact with people, how we look at life, how we look at challenges, and so forth. So let me start off with you, Debbie. So what's your perspective on happiness in quotes?
Well, I intentionally did not look up what any kind of definitions are of happiness, and I didn't look up anything from the American Psychological Association like I normally do when I'm looking into topics because I think that happiness is individual, but it's also maybe not even truly existent for the most
Mm,
part. I think for me, there is peace and
yeah,
satisfaction with what is good enough. And from that base, you can derive something that looks like happiness. I feel happiness as a term or goal or whatever you want to call it. It's an emotion based temporary feeling that you get, but true happiness for me is a peace based thing.
yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Peace. Peace is
Yeah,
more important than happiness, right?
peace is happiness.
Peace is happiness, correct. So I think when I was thinking about this, and yeah, I didn't do any research either, because it is a feeling. The way I look at it is it's a combination of multiple aspects. For example, peace is one, gratitude. You have to be thankful for what you have today, otherwise, you can never be happy. And happy is a temporary state. You can get happy when you buy something that you've wanted for a long time, but the next day you're back to the
Baseline.
reality, right?
Yeah.
To baseline.
Mm-hmm.
So if you respect yourself, if you respect others, that contributes to your state of mind. Secondly, it's gratitude because I may be having a difficult time and I may not be happy, but I'm thankful for and appreciating the challenges that are coming at me or I have to overcome because it's getting me from point A to point B and I'm learning things, right?
Yep.
That to me is more important. Self respect, gratitude, peace, health.
Yep.
You can't be happy if you don't have good health, right? So those are the things that are more important in my mind at this point in my life rather than happy.
I also think internal alignment.
Yeah.
If you have your ethics system, whatever it is that's your core, as long as you are aligned to that, that contributes to peace, I feel. And then, of course, happy.
And sometimes you could have health, you could have internal peace, you could have all those aspects in your life, but you may not necessarily be happy,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
I think it's a temporary emotional state and it's not something to chase with your life. If you're doing that, then you're relinquishing control of your own state of mind.
Do you remember we would hear of phrases, what's important in life, health, happiness, whatever, whatever, right? You remember that? It used to come up in conversations. What's important to me is happiness and whatever the third thing was. I can't remember. But I don't agree with that anymore. Health for
No.
sure. Very, very important.
Oh, yeah. Health and time with people who are important in your life, those are the main things. Young people are highly emotion driven. They haven't figured out how to say no to themselves. I mean, we come into this world as the most selfish creatures. We're helpless, but we're also self centered and self focused. You should care about yourself for sure, but being selfish versus loving yourself is two different things. But in that state of selfishness and emotionally drivenness, I think happiness comes up a lot more. But unfortunately, also at that stage, external factors are controlling that emotion because there's nothing fully built from the inside. If that makes
Right.
I don't know if it
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Oh,
Of
you go
course.
from a nightmare and hopefully you grow up into something that's not a nightmare and you can self-regulate. I think people call that self-parenting. I've heard that term before. I don't know if you've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard of self-regulating, but not self-parenting. That's a new
Yeah.
one for me.
Yeah, I've heard people mention you need to be able to basically self-soothe, self-parent yourself. It's like calm
Huh.
down, talk to yourself like you would a kid.
Well, I talk to myself all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
In my head, not out loud,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in my
sometimes sometimes it
head.
sometimes it comes out loud with me when I'm
Yeah,
alone. Yeah.
yeah, in the car sometimes.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I could talk to myself in the car. So I think you brought up another very good point, which is our perspectives change of what happiness is when we're young versus where you are now in your life, right? So tell
Mm-hmm.
me about what you thought happiness was growing up at a few stages of your life.
I have to think way back. That's a lot of years.
Well, just like start with when you were young. What did happiness mean to you, or was there any such thing called happiness for you?
I don't know if I specifically thought of that, but I am generally an optimistic person anyway. And
Mm.
as a kid, I was pretty bubbly and always laughing. I still am always laughing, but much more so then. I had a not really a pleasant upbringing, which we had talked about before. There was a little bit of performance based approval when things were going well and I was inside the lines or whatever and I had approval. It felt positive, but I can't say that I ever thought of it being a state of happiness. Now, I did as I grew into teenager, got friends, eventually moved out of my home and spent much more time with people who I liked hanging out with, who were friends that just, for better or worse, for whatever it was at the time, accepted me for who I was. That was when I started to recognize happiness, like true happiness. And I think that, yeah, for me, it's being around people that I love and care for. Of course, with that, then you learn who's really truly meant to be in your life versus not, who's supposed to be in your life for now and not forever. So you kind of figure that out. And as I went through those transitions with people, I figured out how to love people and therefore be happy with the time I have with them, understanding that this snapshot in time is not necessarily going to reflect every snapshot in time. I think most of my happiness has really been with people, but also in being alone and being with myself too. That was an evolution as well. But anyway, that's a story. That's a psychological thriller for another day. It's not for now. Anyway.
but but going back to the earlier point, your experiences changes your perspective about what truly matters and what creates that temporary or long term impact, as well as creating that your baseline may change from when you were growing up to now, and it has to. That's what keeps us moving forward and growing, right? Your baseline changes. Your core values don't change. Your baseline as to your emotional state changes. You mentioned that from the beginning, for you, it has always been people centric. My definition of happiness growing up was somewhat materialistic.
Shopping, baby.
Yeah, yeah. If you get a new phone, you get a new car, degrees, that was definition of, okay, but achieving those things, because I had people around me that was not a factor for me because my experiences were different, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was all about what can I achieve in terms of the goals and the materialistic things, the new phone, the new car, the shiny new object is what happiness was for me. And somewhere along this life, my perspective changed. And I can't pinpoint to one situation or one event, just overall, something in me changed where now I don't go for the materialistic aspects. What's important is, again, like health was a given. Like, yeah, when you're young, you don't even think about those things. But somewhere along the line, it doesn't matter what materialistic things I buy, they're not satisfying anymore. It's temporarily satisfaction for sure, and you want to have sometimes those things, but it doesn't satisfy me anymore. And so, what makes me satisfied, I'm not going to use the word happiness, what makes me satisfied is the fact that you've got a combination of now people around me, because now people come and go in your life, right? You have to look at the inevitable, which is everybody's life is going to end up at some point. So you want to make sure that you surround yourself with people that matter most and not the noise.
Correct.
Before it was the noise.
Yep.
So that has been a huge transition for me. And I think it was not one event. If I reflect back, it was a series of small events or
Mm-hmm.
small learnings that have changed this perspective. So I think over time, people who I knew have passed away, then it just puts things in perspective, or people getting terminal disease, those things carry a lot more weight on how you think.
Yeah. I think that's a natural evolution
Yeah,
because coming to grips with your own mortality is not fun. And it's also something that you're not exposed to when you're young. Not
no,
really. I mean, at least not very often.
yeah. You think you have a lifetime, and then before you know it, oh, wow, okay.
You do.
Maybe not.
Well, you do have a lifetime, but that lifetime is pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You think that you have a lot. Why do I have to worry about health? Well, you do. It's not a priority when you're, a teenager or you're in your early 20s. It's just not a priority. It's not something that you think of. It's just a given. That's all I had.
Well, okay. I did think about the work thing, the achievement of goals. That's me, right? Set the goals and go after them type of thing. And I still get joy out of that. I really do. But I learned a long time ago that it's the process that I like and it's not specifically the achievement of the goal. I do love
Hmm.
to achieve the goal, but that is just like buying something. You're like, okay, I did that. Now what? What's next?
We think differently. I'm like, how can I achieve the goal fast? And I'm
Oh,
not appreciative of the process.
oh no. I definitely try to achieve it fast, but I
You enjoy the process.
I
I
really
don't
do.
enjoy the process.
Oh, well, I do. I do because there's a yeah, there's like a high that comes from it. There is
Huh.
for me, and there's like a heightened mental capacity required. Most of my goals are building something, whether it's building a team or changing an organization in some major transformative way. And I like doing that. So when anytime I go into a new situation, whoop, my brain is firing all kinds of ways. And I'm excited about that process. And then, yeah, once I achieve it, it's like, now what? I don't have anything to do. So I go for the next thing and the next thing. And that does bring me a lot of satisfaction. Is it fun? Am I feeling happy every day in it? Not really. Some of it's pain, and I love the pain and I love the struggle. And that's how you know you're alive.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's thrilling. It's exciting. It's like a puzzle you're trying to piece together and work through a big scale transformation or problem, right? So you're excited and you're like, how can I? So for me, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get to the finish line? And then once I'm like done, I'm like, okay, I need to have some breathing room. And I'm okay at this point. Before it was different. Like I'm okay with boring and mundane for right now. Like I just need a look. And I don't think because I'm missing that portion right now. I just want it to be boring.
Yeah, there's something in the middle of the chaos where you crave the boring just for the sake of having a break. But
Yeah,
then if it was
but then
boring,
you want, but then
yeah,
you want the challenge.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, boring for me. I don't want it to last longer than a couple
No.
months at max.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm happy with how this episode has gone. So with that, I think we should close out. We just wanted to stop in and just cover this topic. I wish I had the idea. It was a great idea. Well, if any of you out there want to chime in as to what makes you happy, what happy means to you, please chime in down below. We'd love to hear from you. And other than that, thanks for joining us on your Daily DM. I'm Debbie. This is Mahwish, and we'll see you next month. Bye.